protecting nature and its essential services to people is not negotiable. Boracay Island was closed for rehabilitation. 6 months after its closure, it is no longer a cesspool, and now back to its pristine state. The impossible cleanup of Manila Bay was confronted. A new and vibrant Manila Bay can now be enjoyed by young and old alike. Moratorium on coal projects was imposed. Ambitious goal on reduction of greenhouse gas emission was committed. The Duterte administration espoused that a healthy environment is the foundation for economic and social development. Labis na malasakit ang ipinadama para sa kalikasan. Para sa mamamayan, the Duterte administration devoted its policies, programs, and resources to foster a sustainable future for every Filipino. Building climate resilience for the affected communities by disaster and climate hazard was strengthened. The task force Build Back Better, created under Executive Order Number 120, issued by the President, undertook effort to address perennial flooding in the areas of Cagayan, Bicol, and Marikina River basins. Integrated watershed management through bamboo planting along riverbanks was carried out. As part of flood mitigation effort, Phase 1 of dredging in the Magapit Narrows, Cagayan, and Marikina River had been completed, while the removal of critical sandbars restricting the water flows of the Cagayan, Marikina, and Bicol River is ongoing. The Cash for Work program greatly benefited a number of beneficiaries through food security and environmental protection activities. The quick response during calamities was strengthened for relief assistance to poor individuals living in hazard-prone areas and victims of typhoons and earthquakes nationwide. Emergency operation centers in 17 regional offices and the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Operation Centers were established as command and control points for emergency operation and activities. Transformative action to halt and reverse nature laws were invigorated. More collaborative ways through program convergence budgeting were enhanced to ensure synergy of efforts and funding among national government agencies and local governments of climate-vulnerable provinces. Renewable energy and low-carbon public transport system were actively promoted, especially with the recent passage of the Republic Act number 11697 or the Electric Vehicle Industry Development Act. Proper solid waste management and alternative climate resilience livelihood were bolstered to relieve pressure on the environment and biodiversity. Regulations on healthcare, waste transporters, and treatment storage and disposal facilities were enhanced to improve healthcare waste management. Over 1,000 local government and stakeholders were trained on the management of household healthcare waste and special waste and development of COVID-19 related waste management plans. To improve air quality in the country, the monitoring, enforcement, and policy issuance of compliance of vehicles and industries to emission standards were intensified. To mitigate the impact of climate change, reduce risk and prevent soil erosion and runoff, the enhanced national greening program, including the development of bamboo plantation, is vigorously implemented. Recording another victory for the planet, the Philippines joined various countries in pushing for the phase down of unabated coal power and the end of inefficient fossil fuel subsidies. During the 26th Conference of Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, marine protected area networks were established and strengthened. Coastal communities were supported with biodiversity-friendly and social enterprise. Sustainable agricultural practices were mainstreamed in and around protected areas and in wider agricultural landscape nationwide. During the pandemic, more than 407.6 billion pesos of the Social Development Management Program of mining companies were realigned to support the affected impact and non-impact communities. An estimated 2.7 billion pesos were also committed to environmental programs on top of the 8.1 million seedlings and reforestation of 6,600 hectares of mined out and other areas for the mining forest program. Proactively promoting responsible mining in the country, Phase 1 and 2 of the mining audit covering 43 large-scale surface metallic mining companies have been completed. Supporting quality infrastructures to ensure resilience against extreme weather events and other hazards was facilitated. Flood mitigation programs through flood risk management project, improvement of the embankment, construction of channel improvements, construction of bridges, and repair of sluice gates along low-lying areas have all been strengthening the resilience of communities to hydrometeorological hazard. Coastal infrastructures are also being pursued in partnership with development agencies to enhance the resilience of coastal communities against disaster. Innovation and technology to improve knowledge, forecasting, and readiness for calamities were fortified. State-of-the-art technologies were installed to improve monitoring, forecasting capability, and tracking of weather disturbances, flood disaster mitigation, and earthquake detectability. LGUs were supported with the continuous updating of geohazard maps and in the conduct of risk assessments in their areas to help them plan for disaster and calamities. Proactive advocacy program on Operation Listo to strengthen disaster preparedness of LGUs using the whole of government approach was put in place. The communities and households are being engaged in capacity development on early preparedness action to ensure adaptive and disaster-resilient barangays. Key management plans to guide the country towards climate resilience were developed, enabling science-based decision-making in the country. The Philippine Water Supply and Sanitation Master Plan, Philippine Action Plan for Sustainable Consumption and Production, Roadmap to Institutionalize Natural Capital Accounting in the Philippines for 2022 to 2040, and Rehabilitation and Recovery Planning Guide had been developed. As we address climate change, disaster risk, biodiversity loss, and pollution, the Duterte administration shaped the vision and strategy for our country to improve lives, protect the people, and the environment. Consistent with the global aspiration for a better, greener, bluer, and healthier post-COVID-19 recovery. The Duterte administration continues to harness the development trajectories that are sustainable, inclusive, and resilient. Ito ang kinabukasang ating titiyakin para sa bawat Pilipino. Kailangan may pagpatuloy para sa tuloy-tuloy pang pagbabago.